Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you are all doing well. To start things off, a blockchain venture capitalist by the name of Spencer Bogart was recently on CNBC where he spoke about Bitcoin, saying that he believes the cryptocurrency will trade at least above $10,000 by the year's end. Bogart is a partner at a major venture capitalist firm, Blockchain Capital, and was reportedly the first Wall Street analyst to cover Bitcoin and blockchain, authoring a highly regarded blockchain industry report. Bitcoin has now seen 3 weeks in the negative, its longest running streak of losses since September 2017. As CNBC's interview intro noted, despite this, Bogart outlined a bullish forecast for the long term, saying, "The long-term thesis is very much intact. The institutionalization of Bitcoin is absolutely occurring. Every major bank is trying to do something in this space. Either they're going to be offering Bitcoin to their clients, they're working on a custody platform, or they're opening up a trading desk, or in my own words, they're definitely mining Bitcoin as well. It's all too certain at this point, at least for me." Bogart suggested, however, that many altcoins are likely overvalued and have significant headwind, emphasizing the dangers of relative valuation. He drew a parallel between the ICO boom in late 2017 and early 2018 and the dot-com boom of the early 2000s, warning that many crypto tokens are over-promising and under-delivering. Bogart said he would sell altcoins such as Cardano, Tron, IOTA, and Neo, but was neutral and would hold Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, and EOS. He said, "I'm very constructive as regards Ethereum on a long-term basis." He said, nonetheless, he considered that Ethereum currently has a lot of overhang because of how many overvalued tokens there are built on its platform, and suggested that Ethereum's future will be closely correlated to the future development of the ICO space, which is of course true once we have regulations and we know exactly what Ethereum is. But I felt this, some of what he said. I wouldn't sell, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but I think, at least for the relative short term, I've said before that I think a lot of coins are overvalued. I think a lot of it comes down to hype. If you read differently, that's why I always say, always do your own research. If you take the time to read through not just these coins, but some of the websites of the new coins that are coming out, they typically all say the exact same thing. They make sure to throw around the word decentralized, fast. They say 1 million transactions per second. And when you read through them, a lot of these projects aren't launching for another 2, 3, 4 years in some cases. And that's not a joke either. So I definitely agree with him on that. I think the crypto market will at some point, I don't want to say collapse, but I think there will be an altcoin collapse, and it'll happen from the back end moving forward. And that potentially the first number 2 to around number 50. I think these coins will remain safe, but I think we're going to see eventually a time where there's just not enough money to put into altcoins. And when we do eventually, whenever this happens, starts to have the institutional money flowing into the market, I think it's going to heavily focus on the front end of the market, especially when I made the video about what NASDAQ said to invest in, what all the other venture capitalists are investing in. They all say usually top 10, top 20 coins. This is where they say to put your money. And because if you've paid any attention to any of the other coins, if you have a chance, go to CoinMarketCap and look at like page 2 and 3. Look at some of the coins. They have like a daily trading volume of like $10,000 or something like that. It's not sustainable. And eventually, what I've always believed from the get-go is that all of this money should be inside of the front coins in the first place. Their top 10 for a reason is because they have either launched, they're going to launch sometime very soon, or they have a huge backing behind them. So it kind of perplexes me when people still throw their money into the other coins. I don't know why people continue to do this. But yeah, he has very strong feelings on which coins to buy and to sell. And keep in mind that once again, these are the same coins that are constantly coming up when other venture capitalists or billionaires are talking about the space. And I think, at least for me, it's because I think they have a strong grasp on these coins already. And the other ones, I don't know, there was like, for not to spend forever on this, but there was for a long time, whenever there was talk about Bitcoin in the very beginning and Ethereum came out, everyone was like, Ethereum is trash. We're never going to touch Ethereum. Bitcoin is the winner. As about a year and a half went on, all these rich people started talking about Ethereum. And then Ripple came out and they were like, yeah, we're never, ever going to touch Ripple. It's a brand new coin. No one should touch it. And now it's also appearing in all of these things. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash. I think it's because like I said, if you had Bitcoin, you received free Bitcoin Cash. So this is why it's always in the discussion as well. But it's interesting to see, not coordinated, but to see exactly how they talk and what they constantly talk about, because they're only talking about specific coins. And this is why I think that these will be the coins that will last the longest, because you, as a billionaire, would not talk about certain coins unless you already had a hold on them and you had a corner of the market already in order to line your pockets even more. Just kind of my thoughts on the entire situation. Next up, Zimbabwe's in the news. The High Court of Zimbabwe has lifted a ban on cryptocurrencies in the South African country. Very good news. This follows a lawsuit that was filed by a local cryptocurrency exchange, which argued that the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe did not have any authority to declare cryptocurrencies illegal, which is absolutely true. I am perplexed. If you have not created something and something is not yours, what makes these people think that they can say that something is illegal, that other people in the country should not be using it? It's all very weird. On the 12th of May, Zimbabwe's financial services regulator, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the RBZ, issued a directive to all financial institutions to stop all forms of transactions related to cryptocurrencies and to wind down all accounts tied to cryptocurrencies within 60 days. This followed a few days later by an order to all cryptocurrency exchanges in the country to shut down their operations. Can you imagine receiving an email like that or a letter in the mail? Zimbabwe's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Golix, submitted an urgent high court challenge contesting the RBZ's actions. Through its lawyers, Golix argued that as a regulator, the RBZ was not authorized to place any prohibition on cryptocurrencies. Despite Zimbabweans' significant interest in virtual currencies, they are not recognized as official legal tender in the country, and there has also been no legal and regulatory framework set up for cryptocurrencies. The suit filed against the RBZ's decision also challenged the regulator's failure to give adequate time for notice and a right of response for when it issued its ban. According to reports, the High Court gave a default judgment in the case after the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe failed to turn up to defend themselves. How dare you think you can ban something in the country, try to challenge other people, and then you don't even show up to court? What in the world is going on? The decision suspends the ban and will allow Golix and other cryptocurrency exchanges to resume operations. It also allows businesses dealing in cryptocurrencies to maintain bank accounts. This is very good news. I'm still a major believer that in countries where things are so uncertain like this, where someone could kind of flick their wrist and change exactly how your money is being handled, I hope that people realize that there are free online bank accounts that are not tied necessarily to a country or are tied to other countries in more tax haveny places. So I think things like this can be gotten around if you are not even like looking to evade any type of regulatory framework. It's more like you have a bank account, and if these people in this country are saying, you know, you cannot do X, Y, and Z with your money here, it's definitely, I'm sure, legal to have an account in another country, especially an online one, that can't block your activity because they don't like you dealing with cryptocurrencies. But very good news for Zimbabwe. I love hearing news like this, especially when it allows people to start getting back into the market. So, unfixable Ethereum smart contracts errors may soon be a thing of the past. While such bugs can cause any number of issues for blockchain operators today, a startup called Smart Contract Solutions is launching Zeppelin OS, a release that marks the fruition of a vision its team of veteran smart contracts developers has had since 2016, they announced on Friday. Launching on the Ethereum blockchain today, I guess this was 2 days ago, Zeppelin OS seeks to develop a series of libraries for smart contract applications and tools on the Ethereum network. Notably, the platform aims to use a custom cryptocurrency to incentivize developers to continuously improve and build upon its existing code, creating a standardized system for individuals to develop, manage, and operate these applications, said Chief Executive Damian Brainerd. In materials provided to CoinDesk, the startup notes that it believes hundreds of millions of dollars have been put at risk because of vulnerabilities in smart contracts that could have been fixed. but weren't because the costs were too excessive. Ethereum is, how do I say this? Between what happened with the DAO, and I think Parity is also connected to them, if I'm not mistaken. There's been a lot of talk about fixing Ethereum smart contracts and if they are ready for institutional use, because one of the main things about smart contracts is that people would be able to, if you're buying a home, if you're buying these things will be able to be put into a smart contract, and the contract will be able to execute it when the time is ready or when payment has been made. But if hacks can happen, this is not a good thing, because no one wants to buy a house for $250,000. They put it into a smart contract and then they find out an hour and a half later that it's been hacked. Part of the issue is that when people create these platforms, they tend to create them, say, yeah, they're good to go. They give it a thumbs up, and then they start working on some other platform. And then a month and a half later, when no one's been touching it, people have been hard at work digging into the code, and they've ended up breaking it. Sorry about that. My gosh. So it's nice to hear that there's still movement towards trying to fix all these things, because I feel like for at least the moment that Ethereum, or the people behind Ethereum, are trying more to get the scaling under control, and also to deal with proof of stake. So it's nice to hear that outside influences are still trying to bring Ethereum forward, especially when it comes to the smart contracts. Tim Draper is in the news. Once again, this guy does not let up. It's really, I commend him for how intense he's been in the cryptocurrency space. The animated billionaire Tim Draper addressed the crowd at a technology conference in Amsterdam on Friday. He intoned a few words about Bitcoin in his speech and got the crowd's attention through his rhythm. The Bitcoin enthusiast and entrepreneur earlier predicted that Bitcoin will reach a value of $250,000 in 2022. He mentioned this prediction in his book and stands by it. Earlier on the 23rd of May, he presented his vision for digital governments based on blockchain technology in an opening keynote speech at the GovTech Pioneers Conference. He explained this vision for the future in terms of healthcare. He said, insurance, healthcare, and the real estate industry are offering a terribly poor service and need a lot of money. Governments that burn a lot of money for the worst service feel that first. He stuck to his prediction that Bitcoin will soar to $250,000 by 2020. In the next web conference, he spoke about the potential in technology regarding the banks and venture capital. He spoke about his hopes about cryptocurrency, the new world order, and his bullish beliefs about the token Bitcoin. He also believes that fiat currency will lose its value. It's interesting. One part of this, where I can't remember exactly where it was, something about governments and, digital governments based on blockchain. There was something I was reading, and then something I was listening to in a podcast. It was, I can't remember who it was. It was some other venture capitalist. He was saying that what's happening now is that not only are people looking for safe haven countries when it comes to cryptocurrencies, places where you have to pay less tax, or it's more favorable for you to be able to launch ICOs. He said, but a lot of rich people have started buying small islands, which perked up my ears, because I assumed something like this would be happening. For those who do not know, not to even segue, if you have ever seen any documentary about Dubai, or about like Monaco at the end of France, there's little land there. So what they're doing is that they're actually they're continuing the land on. They're actually building land further out into the sea so that they have more space to build. He said in the next couple of months, we're going to start hearing more news about this. There are a lot of billionaires who are actually buying up small islands and are actually expanding them, because they want to make entire cities and countries that are completely based on cryptocurrencies, where there's digital governance and all this other stuff. And he was saying there's a lot of extra land between some European countries that people are literally walking up to with their friends, placing a flag inside of it, calling lawyers and stuff like that, and saying, this is my land now, because apparently there's little slivers of land where no one's there. So it'll be interesting to see in the next 5 years, around the time when he's talking about this prediction, if we will see countries start blossoming from nowhere that we've never had before. I hope they don't name them like Utopia or Bitcoinopia or something like that. Countries that are literally just based on cryptocurrencies, where only cryptocurrencies are being moved back and forth. I think it's definitely going to happen, because there's still a lot of predictions that by the year 2030, that a lot of the I don't want to say poorest countries that don't have a lot of resources, that these countries will start picking up cryptocurrencies and using them only as their currency, because they will realize that their local currency has inflated so much that it's completely pointless to use anymore. Very interesting time that we live in. I know I say that a lot, but it's, come on, you got to admit, this is all kind of weird. All this stuff that's happening on the internet, but it's going to be fairly entertaining, to say the least, to see exactly what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Next up, Apple is in the news. Apple added a listing of Ripple's XRP token in their Stocks app. This will allow Apple users worldwide to stay up to date on the prices of the cryptocurrency. The coin has been listed with a wide variety of pairings, with users reporting pairings with US dollar, euros, the Great British Pound, Canadian dollar, Indian rupee, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, Russian ruble, Korean won, Chinese yuan. It also features pairs for Ethereum and Bitcoin with XRP. The tracking information for the price is reportedly run by NASDAQ, with USD pairings tracking managed by Bitstamp. This marks the integration of cryptocurrencies into Apple's Stock app. Earlier this week, Justin Sun's Tron currency also saw an integration into the app. However, Ripple has the highest number of pairs within any other currency on the app, which is kind of weird. You would assume it would be Bitcoin. Still very good news. We tried for a long time, around 2014, 2015, to get Apple and Amazon on board to try to not only have them list cryptocurrencies as a payment method, which we still haven't gotten to, but also just to get them to recognize that we exist. So it's good to hear that they're at least slowly moving forward. I know there were talks before with Apple higher ups that they're definitely looking into cryptocurrencies, but they're still trying to stand on the sidelines because, like everyone else, they're waiting for the big players to get into it, because for some reason nobody wants to jump into the pool first. I mean, it's full of money. Don't know what's wrong with them. But it's nice to hear that we are at least being recognized in some type of way. So yeah. Continuing on, some very interesting news about the market. Willy Woo, who is a respected cryptocurrency and digital asset analyst, recently stated that the Bitcoin price might likely fall below the $6,000 mark in the short term. Since mid-May, ever since the Bitcoin price failed to test a major support level at $10,000, it literally hit like $9,997. I remember that day I was looking at the price, I was looking at the live price, and I was like, just go up $4. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. The cryptocurrency market has been on a continuous decline. The vast majority of tokens and small cryptocurrencies have followed the price trend of Bitcoin and Ethereum. On both the upside and downside, the price movement of tokens intensified, recording larger drops than Bitcoin during major corrections. On May 25th, Wu noted that the Bitcoin price would likely dip below the $6,000 level and test $5,500 to $5,700 as a long-term support level. In previous report, CCN noted that the $6,500 mark is an important resistance level, which Bitcoin has been able to bounce off since early January. This was the number that we heard for a while. It was always 6,500. Bitcoin would, depending on where you read, who you were getting information from, they all said 6,500 would be the next mark, and then we would see a major jump up, because at this point, Bitcoin would be underbought at 6,500. Now we're hearing 5,500. I still think that this is, I mean, okay, whatever. Manipulation aside, we all kind of know, but I have my own theory on this. First theory that I spoke about, it had to be 4 or 5 months or something like that ago now. I said Ethereum, you can look back at the old prices of the market and stuff like that. Ethereum was very close to actually switching places with Bitcoin. There was some day, I remember it was cold outside. I remember the exact day. Ethereum was very close to flipping Bitcoin, and it was like a huge amount of, like, everybody was like, oh my gosh, it's finally going to happen. And literally hours before this was going to take place, the Bitcoin price started falling, which caused the rest of the market to fall. And now we're at this point where Ethereum has been pushed down. This is down 1%. This is down 8%, has been pushed down by so much that it needs to more or less double to be able to get back up to it. All of the other positive news, there was a lot of news that should have come out during February, March, and April, I want to say, about new exchanges opening up, new this happening, new integrations, and we didn't get a lot of this news. We have not got a lot of news about new integrations or new partnerships because a lot of the coins have noted that they don't want to give out any information while the market is down like this. Another thing that I personally think, if you think logically, EOS and Tron right now are probably some of the most hyped coins in the entire cryptocurrency space. And this downtrend is also affecting them. Tron launches in like a day and a half and is down by 8%. Doesn't logically make a lot of sense. Same exact thing with EOS. I think we are getting to a point where, okay, it's like a lot of things flowing through my head. If EOS had continued to go up without the pushback of Bitcoin, I think it at this point would have passed by Ripple. You guys know I love Ripple, but realistically, this is 10 billion. This is 22 billion. We've seen EOS pushing around 20 something before. I think it's not unbelievable to see it hit around $30 a coin and pass by Ripple. At this point, Ethereum would be in trouble. But if you've noticed in all my other videos, when people are talking about cryptocurrencies, which coins are they always talking about? It's about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. They talk about these coins because, like I said, I have a feeling that they hold the majority of these coins. So I think this has been pushed down, obviously on purpose, in order to kind of push these prices back into remission, to make them be at bay, if you will. I don't know how much longer this is going to hold on. If you have listened to any of the podcasts I told you about or anything about EOS, this is going to be a major project. And at the moment, there's still a lot of people who have not registered their EOS tokens. We have the 15% that we need to actually launch the entire network. But if around 15 to 20% of the people have not registered their coins and are not transferred over into the mainnet, this is going to be a lower circulating supply than we have right now, and the price will start going up because people will see that there are less coins on the network. Sorry if I'm talking too fast. I just realized I got like really hyped talking about this. But like I said, I think we're going to get to a point because there's still a lot of talk about EOS passing by Ethereum. But then what does that do to all of the all the price predictions from these, venture capitalists who are talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum are definitely the top coins. They're my biggest holds. They're definitely going to do this and they're the greatest and so and so and so. What happens when a coin that has had an ICO for 1 year ends up toppling them? And if I'm not going to say that, maybe by the end of the year, I could definitely see this having like a 12 times rise in some way. And then I don't know. I don't think it can pass Bitcoin. That's just speculation. But this entire talk about what's going on, someone mentioned in the comments before, it's kind of like a, like what is it called? Like a self-fulfilled prophecy. If everyone thinks the market is going to go down, the market ends up going down because people end up pulling their money out of it. People end up becoming so afraid that they heard from this person that this person said this and that this person and their uncle told this other person the market is definitely going to go down because they read it in an article and this is supposed to happen. Everyone becomes afraid. We are still in a very young market where things are so uncertain, especially about which coins will end up making it in the future, that if anyone hears anything negative, we are still in the mindset of January, February, and March where things just continue to go down. And if any type of negativity happens in the market, it's really interesting to see the change in the comment sections between my videos. If we're having a green day, the comment section is just full of nice comments. Like, you guys treat each other completely nice. It's really funny because I read through them and I'm like, wow, we're definitely having a green day. The moment everything is red, it's very negative, and this negativity causes everything else to constantly be pushed down. So it's clearly being manipulated, but I wonder how much longer it can actually hold on, because we did see days before where Bitcoin's price was down like 14%, and other coins were up like 25, 35%, because I think, especially when it comes to other altcoin projects, people are becoming very tired of waiting, if you will. Nobody wants to wait this long for prices to go back up. To be fair, we are in May right now. It's almost June. So, we're not even 6 months into the year. So a pullback of sorts is totally fine, but I think we're used to a very rapid market when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So the idea that the prices are down for any reason is still kind of perplexing, I'm sure, to everyone. We haven't really had any negative news. We've had all these news about institutional people already putting their money into it. Banks are getting into it. These rich people are talking about it. Not the Bloomberg family, the other, whatever. Some other rich people were talking about it as well. The negative sentiment or the negative prices still should not be here. I think If we end up dropping from 7,200 to 5,500, I literally wouldn't know what to say. I think I would take that day off and just like relax my nerves, because it just doesn't make any kind of sense anymore. But we'll see exactly what's going to happen in June, because June is still the magical time that we've been hearing about from all these people. I think this is when the NASDAQ-backed crypto exchange will launch. This is when SBI is supposed to launch. I think there's supposed to be news from Ripple. EOS is launching. Tron launches. There's another coin. I want to say Ontology. I think that's the coin that launches, if I'm not mistaken. So this is supposed to be the golden month. Let's see exactly what ends up happening. Holy cow, I'm out of breath. Okay, so Signia Asset Management, a major investment firm in South Africa, has announced that it will launch a cryptocurrency exchange later this year. This is another instance of all of this. This is another major investment firm who's announcing that they're going to be launching a cryptocurrency exchange. It's kind of whatever. Regional business outlet Business Tech reports that the firm, which currently has 180 billion rand or 14.5 billion US dollars in assets under management, plans to open the exchange called Signia Coin during the third quarter of this year. They said, we aim to launch Signia Coin, a cryptocurrency exchange, in the third quarter of 2018. The cryptocurrency market is evolving at a rapid pace internationally, and domestically is attracting both domestic and international flows. With its fintech focus, Signia is well positioned to become the first major financial services institution to embrace cryptocurrencies and to offer investors a secure trading and execution platform backed by an international infrastructure, well-designed custody, and integration with standard savings products. We don't hear about South Africa too often. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it would be possible in some way for other people in other parts of Africa to be able to use their services, because, like I said, not only South Africa, but Africa in general. I know there's like a huge, or like a beginning of a movement in a few countries where people are trying to get into cryptocurrencies. And there was also, there've been like meetings and events and stuff in Africa as well. But I know they don't have like dedicated places that are like secure for them to be able to trade their money. A lot of people are trading on apps on their phones and stuff like that. So I hope this ends up launching and taking off, and that it becomes really popular so that people have a place where they can get into the market and not be hopefully afraid not to lose their money for whatever might be the case. Okay. Last up. So I'm not going to read through this entire article, but it pretty much talks about during this week, it's supposed to be a very big week because EOS is launching. Yeah, it's Ontology that's also launching. Tron is also launching. And they pretty much go through the entire thing that, we were all hoping and were told that by consensus, the market would be blooming, things would be going up a lot higher, and that prices would not be where they were right now. But in still all of this happening, there's a lot happening. There's apparently a hard fork occurring with Ethereum Classic, removing a difficulty bomb on May 29th that should lead to their ability to move forward as a well-respected crypto. There are major differences between different types of forks, with some changing the underlying code. I think what else is going? Yeah, so it's EOS, Ontology. I think some major ICO is also launching. So it's a pretty big week. We're moving into June. Let's hope that things kind of pick up. There's no way that Bitcoin can drop to 5,500. Like, something major would have to happen. Like, there would have to be a hack on the network in order for there to be that much negativity surrounding the project. But yeah, let's hope, at least it's Monday. If you're watching this on a Monday, let's hope that the market kind of gets itself together, or rather, dear Bitcoin overlords, can you please let the price go back up? Because we're all kind of waiting for this moment so that we can all have a nice summer. That's going to definitely do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's amazing. Hope you guys have a great Monday week. Hope it's awesome. Thank you once again for all of the support. I supported more than you can possibly imagine, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.